This used to be my drive to work every morning until one morning I chose something else. Thank you. Okay, it's been 6 months since I quit my job, and I saved a certain amount of money for this adventure. Money is time because it means that I have more time before I have to start looking for another job or before getting some sort of serious income stream. And at the time, 6 months ago, I decided that my expenses need to be around 19,000 Rand per month, which is 1,100 US dollars. Spend the week with me and let's evaluate where I am, how I'm doing, and what I spend my money on. Okay, so I'm in a store right now and I want to get this basket because things at the house have been like so chaotic. So I'm gonna buy something for the home. Have a look. I think it's quite cute. There. And then I'm gonna put my toiletries in here. Yeah, so, and it's not too expensive and I feel like it's quite cute actually. So I'm gonna take that. Okay, so I'm walking back from my work session now. I think it went really well. I worked for like 3 hours and so I got the coffee, right? But it was actually free. Well, not free. I'm part of Discovery, and because I did my workouts this week, I got like a free coffee from the cafe. So that actually counts towards how much I pay for Vitality, which is their rewards program. So yeah, I do this like once a week. Yeah, and I think Vitality costs 70 Rand per month. So I just spent 17.5 Rand. I just spent 17.5 Rand. I also bought the baskets, which I guess was also 50 Rand towards home stuff. Okay, on my way back home now. Get some food in. The next day we visited Cape Town Museum, which was actually really cool. It was the first time I'd been there and it was quite big. I also went to a planetarium, and that was actually the first time I'd been to a planetarium as well. And we watched a show called Are We Alone?
An elephant or a lobster? On our planet, life is everywhere. But can life exist anywhere? We once believed that all life needed sunlight, but we were wrong. This place is as alien as another planet, but it's right here on Earth, at the bottom of the ocean. When we finally got down to the deep sea floor, we found another kind of life that doesn't need sunlight. In some ways, it's a lot like home. Mars has a 24-hour day.
The experience cost 90 Rand. It's categorized under entertainment and activities. And on average, I saw that I actually spend 575 Rand on activities per month, which is 32 US dollars per month. Okay, hi everyone. How I track my expenses is there's two ways I do it. The first is with an app called Splitwise, because my husband and I currently split everything 50-50. Okay, so I'll go on the app and I'll add an expense. So for example, Medical aid. So I'll pay that. That's like a debit order that comes off of my card, and then like I just put it on the app, like this. I think it's six, and then I just say that it's split equally. I save it. What's cool about this app is that it actually like saves all of our expenses from the past as well. And like we sometimes even create like a trip and then I'll add all the expenses to the trip and then we can see how much the trip cost and things like that. So every single expense that is shared between us is like recorded on this app. And it's really painful sometimes because, you know, sometimes I want to hide from how much I'm owing and my expenses, but this just brings them out into the light. The second way in which I record everything is on like Pages or like Excel. Like I just record everything there, and I will show you that now. I have not done that in a while. Okay, so this is what my numbers page looks like. So here's an example from 1 April to 1 May 2025. I basically have three inputs. So the first is like what comes off of my debit card, things like medical aid, things like network, some insurance. Then it's everything I've bought on my credit card. So I use my credit card to pay for most of my expenses and then I just pay everything back at the end of the month. I also, if someone has paid something else for me, for example, like my husband or if friends have paid for it and they've put it on Splitwise, then I use this column over here. And every expense is then, it's categorized into a category and then that category is then all totaled up and then I can like understand where I spent the most money. For example, here are all my categories. Income kind of low because I don't have a job right now, but yeah, these are all my expenses. I have medical aid, health, food with other people, if we're like cooking together, eating out, entertainment, all these things. Okay, so I read a book that said, I think it's called Your Money or Your Life. And in that book, they say it's really good to count every cent. So that's when I actually started doing this. I did not always used to do this. You look at each category and then you like decide if you're happy with it. And then if you're happy with it, I make it a tick. I'm gonna be totaling all of my stuff. And then at the end of the video, we'll go through like how much I have spent over the last 6 months and if it's a disaster or if everything's okay. Hey guys, so I'm off to the shop to get some food. And you're coming with me. Yeah, so anyway, I'm about to film with my full camera inside a shop. And I don't know, I feel a bit nervous about it. So I hope it goes well. I hope they don't chase me out. Yeah, let's see guys. I mean, what could go wrong? Firstly, I shopped at Woolies today. I don't always do that, but the reason I did it today was because I had to buy a lot of healthy foods like Whole Foods, and because I'm with Discovery Bank, I get miles back. So that was why I went to Woolies. The bill came up to 975 Rand, but included that was like a 250 Rand gift that I have to mention. Yeah, and the rest was food for basically the week. Normally, my cost for food is 2,700 Rand per month, which is 154 US dollars. So over here, I actually went to the shop to try on clothes and then buy them online because there was a really good special online. I think it was like 30 and 40% off. So I ended up getting the brown top that you see. I'll show you now. Yeah, so I ended up getting this like brown top that I was trying on, and I ended up getting other brown pants. Yeah, so in the end, I actually really wanted that pink one, and I couldn't find it online. It was like sold out. So I might have to still like go back anyway and get the top, like, yeah, that was a bit of a bummer. So normally I spend around 800 Rand per month on clothes, which is around 45 US dollars. Not sure how I feel about that, but there was one month where I went to a festival and I bought a lot of clothes for that festival. So it kind of makes sense. But yeah, clothing.
Wave again.
Eh?
Wave again.
Okay, we're at the night market now. And it's pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff. But not as much as I thought, but we're just getting some sweet treats and some chocolate. And we also had an empanada.
All right.
The moment of truth has finally arrived. Okay, so this is how much I've spent over the last few months, and it's a bit more than 19,000. I'm a little disappointed, especially seeing like April was really expensive, but yeah, so this is how it's been looking for the last 6 months. I'm going to go a bit more in depth now about like actually where it all went. This is a pie chart of all my expenses and it's been categorized. As you can see on the top of the list is travel transport, which is basically petrol, flights and moving around. So we actually have a Europe and UK trip coming up, and so that's why we had to like pre-book flights and some trains and things for the visa. So that's actually why I think that is the highest right now. Also in February, March and April, we traveled around South Africa on a road trip, and we spent a lot of money on fuel, which I also think contributed to this being the highest amount. And then the next thing is business, which is like currently this YouTube channel. So I bought a lens, I've had to buy some equipment the last couple of months, and so I'm okay with that because I'm hoping one day the business will pay for itself. That's like the dream, like, guys, let's manifest that. Anyway, medical aid, which is a must. Like in South Africa, we have to pay a certain amount for medical aid in case you have any like serious problems, like you have to go to the hospital. It's such a high expense, but it's something that we kind of have to do. Accommodation has been a lot lower than I expected. Because we've been camping and when we travel around, and we've been staying with friends and staying with our parents when we're in one place. So that has actually been really good. I think I expected it to be around 4,000, but I'm happy to see that it's lower. That's a win for sure. Okay, and then personal care is also pretty high. That's like hair care, skin care, makeup, stuff like that. I don't know how I feel about that. I think I'm gonna try and get that lower in the future, but also it's something I enjoy, so I'm gonna think about it. I don't know. I'm also a bit of a foodie, and so I'm totally fine with that amount. It used to be so much more when I was working. So now I'm like very selective about when we go out and try to cook more at home, etc. Yeah. So on average, my monthly expenses have been 24,000 Rand per month, which is roughly 1,360 US dollars. Which I'm like a little bit bummed about because it's like a whole 5,000 Rand above like what I intended, and that can really add up over the months. So But what has been quite surprising is that I've actually also made money during that time, which I didn't account for a few months ago. So I've made money from investments and crypto arbitrage, and as well as tax repayments, which has been a surprise. And so I think that's why I'm able to feel okay about what's going on. I don't feel like I'm panicking. I feel held by the universe when it comes to money. So I'm really grateful that that happened. Yeah, I feel hopefully optimistic about what the next 6 months are going to bring. So I think in the next 6 months, I'll do something similar and then, evaluate where my life is going. But at the moment, I'm fine. I'm happy. I'm so grateful to have had the experience I've been able to have with the money that I've spent. And anyway, thank you for being here. I hope that seeing these numbers helped you in some way and made you feel not alone. If you've left your job or if you're thinking about doing it and how much it might cost you. So I know I watched some people do this and I found it really helpful. So I hope you find it helpful too. If you like this video, please watch this other one about Cape Town and how we spent a full day spending as little money as possible, but also exploring as much as we could. Okay, thank you so much for being here. Bye.